Last two generation, finding a good value for money budget GPU is getting harder and harder. But today, don't worry. Let me tell you about the best value for money GPU that you can find right now. The AMD RX 6750 XT can be one of the best 1080p GPU if you can find one under $200 to $250. Now I know it is a 2-generation old GPU, but hear me out. In 2025, a GPU has to be a good GPU when it has certain characteristics. Although the GPU is few generation old, it still has 40 compute units with up to 2.6 GHz clock speed. Now, why this GPU is special? Because even though this GPU is 2 generation old, when it was launched, it was meant for high-end 1440p gaming, and it was one of the higher tier GPU of AMD 6000 roster. Although the specification might not be as relevant in 2025 in 1440p gaming, but it still is in 1080p because of its 12 gigabytes of VRAM, which is very hard to find even at modern GPUs which are meant for 1080p, which cost over $300. Looking at you, Nvidia. But that's enough of me yapping. Let's see some benchmark numbers. In 1080p, the GPU can run almost every single game at max settings very comfortably, and especially in games like Cyberpunk 2077, Ghost of Tsushima, RDR2, the GPU can deliver you close to or even over 100 FPS. Now, if you ask me, getting 60 FPS on games should be something that we strive for. That is comfortable gaming experience. And when we cross over the 100 FPS threshold, that is when you are entering the territory of high FPS gaming, at least in my opinions. Let me know in the comment section what do you guys think about that. But when looking at benchmark numbers and to understand completely what kind of gaming experience you are going to get out of a GPU, not only you have to look at average FPS numbers, you also have to look at 1% low. Now, what is 1% low number? Let's say you are playing a game and generated 1000 FPS, and the average of those 1000 FPS is 60 FPS. Now, in those 1000 frames, there are 100 frames or 1% which ran at close to 40 or 30 or something like that, which averages around 35. That means 1% of the time the lower end FPS is your 1% average or 1% low. And the disparity between low and average FPS can tell you what kind of gaming experience you're going to get. If the disparity is high, it's going to be laggy, choppy, and you're not going to have a good experience. If the disparity is small, then it's going to be less laggy and much more smoother. So with the RX 6750 XT, I had very smooth gaming experience. Yes, there were some occasional chops and frame drops, but those are very random and very far between. And the story remains same for 1440p gaming, although it doesn't hit 60 FPS on every single game. But if you want to play 1440p games on a clutch, or you just upgraded your monitor and you don't want to buy a new GPU, then it's still can run 1440p games. Now let's address the elephant in the room, ray tracing performance. And to answer that, it's not good. You have seen it barely playable, like it's not even playable. And if you are someone who are going to play games with ray tracing, then you shouldn't buy this GPU. And yes, you can enable frame generation and FSR and lower down the ray tracing settings to make it somewhat playable, but that diminishes the whole point of the image quality looking good. Also, another downside of this GPU is that it is not an NVIDIA GPU. It doesn't have CUDA support. And if you do any kind of productivity task which uses GPU acceleration, most probably that particular software would be optimized for CUDA, or in other words, NVIDIA GPUs. Now, can it do video editing, 3D modeling, graphics designing, AI workflow? Yes, it can. It is a powerful GPU, but its competitors or its equivalent NVIDIA GPU will perform much better. So if you are that kind of person, then you shouldn't buy this GPU. Now, I know I haven't talked about or compared it against any of its competitors. There are two reasons. First, I don't have all the GPUs in my hand. I'm a pretty small channel. And secondly, is it doesn't have any competition really. The B580 is much more expensive than this, and even if you are willing to pay that expensive price, your first job would be is to find one, because the stocks are next to nothing. And on the Nvidia side, well, the 5060 Ti 16GB variant is much more expensive than this one, and you shouldn't buy the 8GB variant. To wrap it all up, don't buy the RX 6750 XT if your workflow revolves around more than gaming, and definitely don't buy it new. You can't even find one, but even if you do, don't buy it new. Buy it from secondhand market, and only buy it if you can find one under or between $200 to $250. Also, if you can find its little brother, the RX 6700 XT, under $200, which I'm sure you can, then that is also a very good option. By putting some elbow grease and overclocking the GPU little bit, you can get it on par to 6750 XT. Now let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this GPU? Am I right about this GPU? Is it the best value for money 1080p GPU right now in the market or not? Let me know in the comment section. And while you're down there, why not like the video if you liked it? If you haven't, feel free to dislike. It's free. Go ahead, do it. And if you want to watch more videos from us, check out this video right here. And if you want to subscribe, which I highly appreciate if you do that, well, do it by here. And there's Akash, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.